Hello and welcome to today's episode of Thrive After 45. I'm Denise Drinkwalter, heart whisperer, midlife mirror, and mentor. And every week I am honored to share energy and space with inspiring guests whose stories reflect so many possibilities of thriving beyond 45. Together, we'll uncover the whispers of the heart, the power of midlife transformation, and that wisdom that fuels expansion. What if rock bottom wasn't a place of collapse, but the launch pad to your rebirth? Today's guest, Kimberly Laura, knows that truth in her bones. A licensed professional counselor, a certified divorce coach, and a divorced single mom with two young adults, Kimberly carries both professional mastery and lived experience. After 23 years of marriage, more than 25 years together, her life was shattered by divorce. A season she describes as temporary insanity, where everything she knew fell apart. But here's where her story ignites. Instead of staying broken, she actually transformed. Seeing the deep lack of support for people suffering during and after divorce, she became the guide she once needed. She turned her pain into purpose and founded Blossom Coaching over 6 years ago. With more than 2 decades as a therapist and hundreds of lives impacted, Kimberly now helps women move through the pain of divorce, rediscover their strengths, claim that new identity, and build a life that finally feels true. Her work is powerful, it is grounded, and it changes the trajectory of women's lives. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Kimberly. I can't wait to have this conversation.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
If I would love to have our audience understand a bit more. I mean, in the intro, we talked about the trials and tribulations in terms of what hit and how it was blindsided you. Tell us more about some of those pieces that really brought you to where you are today and doing the incredible work you are doing to support women going through similar journeys.
Sure. So I got married in 1995
Hmm.
and I was 25 years old
Yep.
and I thought my life was moving along, right? I went to college, I went to grad school, I started working, I was engaged, then we bought a house, we had two kids, we had two dogs, we had two cats, we love animals. And we're just kind of chugging along and
Mm.
then all of a sudden we weren't. And in retrospect, I think that there were signs that I chose to ignore because I was scared and why why rock the boat, right? We're just chugging
Yep.
along. And he said he wanted a divorce, major betrayal. And the day
Mm-hmm.
before my 47th birthday, he moved out. And
Wow.
I was like, what do I do now? What
Hmm.
do I do? The rug was pulled out from under my feet.
Yeah.
Here I am with these two kids
Hmm.
and, a house and what I thought was a marriage. Like so my
Yeah.
whole identity, was just kind of like ripped apart. What do I
Yeah.
do? Who am I? Where do I go from
Right.
here? Will I be okay? Will my
Yeah.
kids be okay? Um, And then I realized like I needed some support.
Hmm.
I mentioned, before I frequently mentioned, and you mentioned in the intro, I felt this temporary insanity, which
Yeah.
is really difficult for a person whose career is a therapist. So here
Right.
I am. My world is falling apart,
Yep.
trying to help other people, trying sometimes just to get my kids off to school. Um, like
Yeah.
that was a big chore
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was like really just falling apart. And I realized that there was a need for specialized support for this temporary insanity.
Mm, mm-hmm,
So, I had a therapist for
mm-hmm,
other issues. I had,
mm-hmm,
friends, I had family. But there was something kind of wrong with all of those scenarios. I didn't want to
mm,
burden my friends. Therapist, she kind of got it, but this was like right here, right now. What do I do next? Where do I
right.
go? What are my steps? So once I kind of got through my divorce, which lasted 18 months, I said, I got to do something about this.
Mm,
And I became a certified divorce coach, and
mm-hmm,
now this is where I am. Who would have thought it? I just this year it was 7 years that I've been divorced, and
yeah.
it would have been my 30th wedding anniversary. And here I am, happier than ever and helping people find their happily ever after part
Mm,
two, no matter what that looks like.
right.
So yeah, I mean, what a strange what a strange journey our lives take us on.
And what's so interesting to me is that temporary insanity. I love the fact that you're calling it temporary.
Mhm.
A lot of women that I speak with and support don't see it as a temporary piece. When you were in the throes of it, could you see it as temporary, or did that, I'm going to say label, just for lack of a better term right
Mhm.
now, did that come after when things moved differently as you worked through
Yeah, I
your
mean, it definitely is one of those things when I look back and say, oh yeah, that was temporary. In the time at the time, I just
right?
felt crazy. I just
Okay.
felt untethered, right? So, I mean, I knew I couldn't feel like that forever, but I also didn't know when that crazy feeling was going to
Yeah.
stop. And crazy, when we break it down, I mean, crazy is normal, right? When you're
Yeah.
going through a divorce, it's normal to feel crazy because I use the term crazy loosely, but if we break it down, what is it? It's fear, it's uncertainty, it's loss of identity, like I said
Mm,
before, it's betrayal, like that really deep betrayal that this isn't who I thought I was with you. This isn't
yeah.
who I thought we were together. You're not who I thought you were. So what the heck's going on?
Hmm.
So, there's a lot of emotions that bundled
Of
together,
course.
you feel
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But with time
Hmm.
and with
With
with support,
I was going to say, time is one big piece of it, but I would hazard a guess that
Mhm.
the support is a
Mhm.
huge piece. And I like how you shared, I didn't want to burden the family. I know a lot of people feel like that. Like, yes, I will talk to them and lean on them, but I don't want to make that relationship a burden and make it all about me and my issues and my worries and fears. And so having that support from somebody like yourself, who's not only experienced it, but has the training and
Mhm.
knowledge and skills behind it. Before you became a certified divorce coach specialist, you were a counselor and therapist, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's an incredible package of wealth and knowledge you bring to the table. So I'm unfortunately, but I think sometimes these things do happen for a reason.
I agree. And I often say, to my clients, and just like when
Hmm.
I'm feeling a moment of gratitude, I think that divorce is the hardest thing that I've been through, but it was the
Hmm.
best thing that ever could have
Hmm.
happened.
Hmm.
Because if it didn't, I don't know where I'd be.
Right.
I'd be in a really unhappy marriage, and I would not be
Yeah.
doing what I'm doing, and I would probably not be loving life.
Hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You mentioned that when you look back, sounds like you're a big reflector. When you look back,
Mhm.
you could see some of those signs. There's probably women in the audience who are listening going, I know the signs. I am not happy right now. We haven't been happy for, a while, or when I think about it, it's eternity. What can you share with our audience, not having any details in terms of what's going on actually, but are there any strategies, techniques, things you would recommend people who are listening right now going, what can I do? I don't want to be stuck, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah. A lot of times we paint our red flags green, right? That's something that we do, right? We see these red
Mm,
flags and we see them and our intuition's like, yeah, that's a red flag, but we want what we want so badly. Whatever that is, peace, stability, a big wedding, not
hmm.
disrupting the status quo.
Right.
So we get out our little, can of green paint and we paint our red flags. So I think the
Ah.
biggest thing is to really trust your intuition and don't
Mm,
doubt yourself. And, a lot of times, you're hearing these external voices. Maybe they're, somebody's gaslighting, or maybe culturally you can't get
mm,
divorced, or maybe the stigma of divorce, like so all of these things are bombarding
hmm.
us. Just stay, it's not that bad, blah, 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 blah. But really trusting your intuition and also reaching out for support. There are a
Mm,
lot of
yeah.
things you could do to kind of, hey, I don't feel right, but I'm not quite sure what's wrong, right? Like what's
Hmm.
going on? Something doesn't
Hmm.
feel right. And,
Hmm.
having somebody as a sounding board to help you get that
Right.
clarity, and even if it's just validate you, because it's so lonely. A lot of
Mm,
times we as women are in these really lonely situations. Um, and we just need somebody to listen and to
yeah.
validate and say, I hear you. I support you. I'm here for you.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I love that. And if you're listening right now and you might be the listener, you might be the person who needs to be there to support and listen and give the validation. I hear what you're saying. What I'm hearing you say is,
mhm.
um, we we don't we I'd say we underestimate the value of listening.
This is very true. And listening to ourselves also.
Mm. So how do you do that? How do you listen to yourself without pulling up, changing the color of the flag?
I think, it's really important to, it's easier said than done, but to try and
Yeah.
like really push out the noise, because there's a lot of noise coming to
Mm,
us all the time.
hmm.
And just really sit with ourselves. I work a lot with people with the connection between their heart, their mind, and their selves. And when we really get into our heart, our mind, and ourselves,
Mm,
that's when, these revelations come through. That's when our intuition speaks the most loudly and clearly to us.
hmm. Hmm.
And it's
Perfect.
like,
Yep.
a lot of times it's fear chattering,
Yep.
or it's fear is the big one, the uncertainty, the what ifs, da, 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 da,
Hmm.
da. But just,
Hmm.
okay, this is
Yeah.
where I am right now. We don't even really have to figure out where you want to go. We could just be like,
Right.
this is where I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting clarity, like you say, right? The awareness, what's really true.
Mhm.
And you mentioned about the
Yeah.
identity,
Mhm.
right? The identity is
Mhm.
huge because we talk about this all the time in the show. And that's why the underpinning, the foundational piece of our show is thrive after 45. And you do this for you, by you, because of you, so that we start
Yeah.
to peel back that onion layer and start to really understand who we are as a person, not through the roles we play. And
Yes.
we've done that. We do that. And then all of a sudden these situations, these life altering um, presentations that come into our lives
Yes.
really hit us upside the head. And if we have the
Yeah.
opportunity to do this work as we go along, instead of waiting for the bottom to fall
Mhm.
out, wouldn't it be even
Mhm.
better overall for us as well as those who are in our sphere of influence,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what do you know now about divorce, identity, rebuilding that you wish someone had maybe whispered to you at the very beginning of your circumstances?
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that anyone who is contemplating in the middle of after divorce,
Hmm.
it's so important to remember your marriage may have ended, but your life is not over. So, that's 100% true.
I
Your
love
marriage might have
that.
ended, your life's not over. In some ways, every ending is a new beginning. So
Hmm.
maybe, like you said before, the launch pad, our marriage is over for us.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It could look like anything. It could look like, going back to school,
Hmm.
specializing in divorce as a divorce coach. It could mean, downsizing and moving someplace you've always wanted to. It could be something, like taking a pottery class. It could be anything, any
Yeah.
new beginning.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah. The end of something is the beginning of something else. It's just
Mhm.
waiting for you to find it. So the end is opening up more space for you to be able to explore that, right? Yeah. Because you mentioned near the beginning, I don't know what I'd be doing now if I were still married. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And as you process it, you probably look at it and go, I'm in a much better spot than I know I would have been back. Yeah, if this,
Thankful every day for that.
right?
Thankful every
Aw.
single day. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. It was meant to be.
I think it was. And that's, I
Hmm.
think, a really important thing for people to understand too, that things don't go as planned,
Hmm.
but you'll be okay. It might be a little
Yeah.
bit rocky and you might not be able to see the finish line, but what if the finish line kept changing, right?
Yep.
What if your paths, new paths kept opening up for you? What if, it's not cut and dry, black and white? What if life is just so fluid, which I think it is?
Yeah.
Just taking what comes the best that you can with surrounded by people who you love and who love you and loving yourself also.
And I don't know about you, but I know with the women that I support, that is one of the biggest hurdles that women experience is the love for self because the conditioning, the years of practice, that making sure everybody else is well taken care of.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that gives you the love. But
Hmm.
really, that's all conditional. It's not
Right.
self love at all. And I know I've had clients who are like, oh, but I feel guilty. I feel, again, the reason why we have the show, do this for you, by you, because of you. And as
Hmm.
you start to really, really love you for whom you really are and not the masks you've worn and wear,
Right.
everything changes. I don't know if you notice that, but
Hmm.
I sure do.
And I think I do too. And I think that when you love yourself, you tolerate less. So, like, if when you start to realize, like, I'm being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't, that's not in alignment with who I am, and I'm not enjoying the way I'm being treated.
Mm-hmm.
That in and of itself, because I think we give, 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 we love, 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 and there's nothing left over for us.
Mm-hmm.
And looking to see, like, well, where could I find time for myself? Maybe I need to stop doing this or
Mm-hmm.
doing that or being spoken to like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think just being true to yourself is so important, especially as we
Mm-hmm.
get older. I mean,
Yeah.
all the time, but I think with age comes wisdom. So,
Absolutely. Thrive after 45. That's why we're doing this.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because, and I've spoken to different people on the show, in my opinion, um, as we age, there are layers of experience that build and expand and absolutely combine to give us even more wisdom.
Mhm,
So as age continues for everyone,
mhm.
hopefully as much as we can, then all of our experiences build upon one another to help us become more and more well-rounded, more and more, like you say, true to yourself without any other expectations. It's just because we get to.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to, but there's so many other players. And as we age and things come together in such a beautiful way, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think that it's so interesting because most of my clients are like me, right?
Yeah.
Long-term marriages, kids are a little bit
Sure.
older. This is our time. And I often,
Yeah.
again, reflecting back with my
Mm-hmm.
clients and on my own life, we're not who we were when we got married at 22, 25, even 30. I mean, I'm 55, almost 56, and I don't even really remember that young 25-year-old who was walking down
Yeah.
the aisle. We
Hmm.
evolve, and sometimes people don't come with us during our
Yeah.
evolution.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better that they don't.
Right? Yeah. And and what a great way to put it. The evolution and
Mhm.
growth of one person is so important. And maybe you grow together and maybe you don't. And
Yeah,
that's okay.
it's absolutely
It's,
okay.
yeah, right? Yeah. And like you say, it might blindside you. And I know that that happens a lot for couples in midlife, especially when kids move away
Mhm.
or don't move away,
Yep.
whatever the case may be. And they're gone. And so the focus is no longer on raising per se, it's on one another. And
Yeah.
who are you? Because we've been so busy running everybody around and doing that, pouring into
Mhm.
that. I don't even know myself, let alone who you are. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes our jobs are ending, we're retiring, or,
Yes.
we're downside. There's just a lot of things going on
Yeah.
at this stage of our lives. So again, different doors are opening, different paths are opening for us. And what are we going to do? Where are we
And
going to go?
And isn't it incredible that we all are in this journey together?
Hmm.
So even though we feel isolated, when we start talking to one another, we start to realize, oh my gosh, you mean I'm not the only one freaking out over here?
Hmm.
No, sister, you are not.
That is true. Absolutely
Right?
true. Yeah. Where there's a whole
Yeah,
tribe of us.
absolutely. And so that's what I love about this show is that we're showing people you're not alone
Yeah.
and you don't need to travel this road alone. And your road will be different than this person's road than this person's road. There's a commonality, but we're here to support and make sure that you know that this journey, as tough as it can be, has a silver lining. It
Yeah.
exists. Yeah,
Yeah.
1,000%. And when you start to take the reins, everything gets to change. Yeah.
And it's really like my passion to help women see that. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing more satisfying to me than that aha moment when a woman says, "You know what? I did it. I'm doing it. I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to be better than okay."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
want to raise that bar. We want to dream big. We want to see, well, what's possible? And
Mm-hmm.
then even maybe push it.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Is there one or the most important thing for people to know as they're navigating divorce itself? Is there something that's most important in your opinion, what people really do need to know as they navigate divorce?
And this is just a perfect segue because you really don't have to go through it alone. Back to what we were just talking about, you don't have to go through it alone.
Mhm,
There are people to help you. I mean,
mhm.
there are people to help you with finances. There are people to help you with issues. There are all kinds of support people, friends and family. You got to be careful though, because you got to make sure that they're
Right.
non-judgmental, because that was another thing, you know, people take sides and people were taking my side. Of course, my friends were taking my side and kind of fueling the fire. So, finding
Right.
somebody objective and non-judgmental,
Hmm.
Like a therapist or a coach, because you really don't have to go through it alone. And don't even try because it's lonely and isolating enough. So surround
Hmm.
yourself with your cheerleaders and your people that build you up and support you and maybe call you out if you are
Hmm. Yep.
stuck a little bit,
Right.
in victim mentality or something. Just really finding people that have your back and that are your
Hmm.
cheerleaders,
Hmm.
because you really don't have to go through it alone.
Hmm. Is there anything, and there's lots of things we haven't touched on, is there anything that you would love to share with our audience before we wrap it up today, Kimberly?
Yeah, just, it's really important again to reach out and to have that mindset, that intention that things might be hard, but they're going to get better. And they might be
Hmm.
really hard for a while and they might really suck for a while, but that's
Hmm.
part of the process and trusting the process. And again, reaching out for support. I do run support groups. I work with people individually.
Hmm.
And, I would love to talk to anybody. I offer complimentary consultations, just to kind of sometimes get out of your own head
Mm,
and let it breathe. And then
yes.
then you kind of, you're able to refocus a little bit more. So finding out who can help me,
Hmm.
what do I need to do? Where do I
Right.
go next?
Well,
They're real legit questions. And they can
yeah.
be really overwhelming. So having people kind of help you along that path, guide you
Hmm.
along that path is so important.
Hmm. I know we have a global audience.
Hmm.
So, just curious, the supports that you give, and if you get into, the different layers and levels that are involved in a divorce beyond just the emotional piece, um, do you provide information that will be able to be accessed globally as well, or is it more central to a specific area?
Well, I'm in New Jersey. I'm at the Jersey Shore. That's where I'm located, but I do work virtually and I do work
Okay.
globally.
Okay.
And I have a
Perfect.
nice network of people that are in the divorce field, people that you
Nice.
don't even know exist. I didn't even know these careers and professions
Right?
existed until I got divorced. But now, since I'm part of it, I'm part of a lot of networking groups and associations. So if you are getting divorced and you do need to find out what to do. Should I sell the house? Should I keep the house? Well, there
Right.
is a specialist in divorce mortgage planning. Who would have known?
No, right?
Who
Yes.
knew, right? I might not be able to tell you exactly who it is in England, but I could say,
Right.
hey, check
Yeah.
it out. Or I could ask
Yeah.
my network, who knows anybody in England that might help? So
Yeah.
I am well versed in
Yeah.
helping find helping find help.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Perfect.
really it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that. So you were, I'm trying to think, like you were like an epicenter of the connections,
Yeah.
and not only have you experienced and with your knowledge as we spoke later, but your networks that you have based on all of your expertise, you have an opportunity to support globally. So
Yeah.
if you're listening, because I look at my listener base and we are global, I'm just honored and thrilled
Yeah.
as such. And so it's great to know that you can find
Mhm.
Kimberly in our show notes, because all of that will be in our show notes,
Thank
and
you.
you can reach out to her. And she did mention that she has that free consultation and
Mhm.
see if you're a match and start the process.
Yeah.
Don't do this alone. You don't have
Don't
to
do
do
it
it
alone.
solo. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I do love what you've shared throughout the show today as well, that yes, there are people close to you, friends and whatnot, but there are pieces that not everybody understands the way that you do and
Yes.
your network does, because this is your forte, this is your skill
Mhm.
set. So, not saying don't talk to friends and relatives that support you. That's not what we're saying, but we're saying when it comes to all the ins and outs, not everybody understands it the way that Kimberly does. So reach
Yeah.
out. She
Yeah.
is there.
Yes. And that's why support groups are so nice too, because I
Yes.
facilitate them in a way that is for support and recovery, right? So it's not a gripe session. There is
Thank you.
structure and support. So we learn, we work on communication, and then maybe, we share different areas that we're having struggles communicating. We talk about dreams, we talk about identities, and we go through clarity with emotions, we go through confidence to make decisions and courage to move forward. That's the structure. And you're with people
Yeah.
who really get it.
Yeah.
So you're not talking to your lawyer at, I don't know, in New Jersey, it's like $500 an hour. You're not, burdening your friends or
Yeah.
downer. You're not, talking to friends that say, oh, get that SOB forever, take it
Yeah.
forever worth. You're with
Yeah.
people that really understand in a supportive community.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
running groups too. So just for that reason.
Absolutely. 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 And I think it's really important what you've shared too, in terms of it shows that you're not alone, but it also isn't just a gripe session that just goes
Yeah,
around in a circle and you get nowhere. You're
right.
building strategies and skills so that you can have a voice as your voice continues to grow,
Hmm.
as your vision, you talk about intention setting. All those are things that we love family. I love my family, but they wouldn't guide me to set intentions. Like I
Right,
just know that that would not be something that would come up
right,
in a conversation. It's like,
right,
right? It's just
right.
and that's absolutely fine and fair. However, what you do is so important and the world is so stressful. So having that support and the group is just beautiful because you
Yeah,
get to hear other voices. You get to
yeah,
see, and I know it's a non-judgmental group. I
yeah.
know you won't let that happen because
Mm-mm.
you are who you are. We talked before we started about authenticity,
Yeah,
right? It's like this
yes,
is what we do, people.
yeah,
So if something happens, we're just being real, right?
that's right. And you said you get to hear other voices, but you get to find your own. And that's,
Mm.
finding your own voice again. I mean, what a gift.
Ah,
What a amazing
yeah,
gift.
yeah. And on that note, I'd like to put a little question to the audience. What resonates in your body when you hear that? It's time to find your voice. Like that sent shivers up my spine. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
How powerful is that?
yeah.
I love it. Kimberly, what a pleasure to spend time
Thank
with you
you.
today and learn more about your journey and what you have to offer to the world. So, thank you for continuing to be you, using
Oh,
your
thank
voice
you.
and using your skills and supporting so many people through the challenges and the beauty that
That's true.
sits inside divorce, right?
And thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. This was lovely.
My pleasure. If something resonated in you from our conversation today, make sure you follow, share, subscribe, give us reviews. We'd love to know how our conversations land for you, our audience. Make sure you take care of yourselves and go and do something and to thrive after 45 and do it for you, by you, because of you. Have a great day, everyone. And I forgot to mention, in the show notes, we have all the information, as always, on how to contact and find Kimberly. Take care, everyone.